Imagine for a second just the vast, unforgiving expanse of a pitch-black ocean. You've got these massive dark clouds rolling in, casting heavy shadows over the water. There's literally a place in this world, a terrifying stretch of deep blue sea, where massive ships and airplanes go in and they just never come out. We're talking compasses suddenly spinning totally out of control, radio signals dropping into absolute dead air, just silence. It's incredibly chilling. In fact, right before one of the most famous disappearances, the pilot's final desperate transmission came through with this one eerie message.
We are surrounded by strange lights. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. Whispered right before total deafening static. Today, we're diving into an explainer of one of the most cinematic, sci-fi level mysteries on the planet. But here's the crazy part. The facts we're looking at are 100% real. We're going to unpack the dark narrative of a place that has swallowed human beings without a single trace and explore the actual science and the wild theories behind it all.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1, the Devil's Triangle.
So, we're not just talking about some tiny, easily avoidable patch of water here. The scale is terrifyingly massive. The Devil's Triangle is a highly dangerous, technically undefined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. If you map it out, its 3 points connect Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Within this giant, storm-ridden area, the normal rules of navigation just break. It's absolutely huge, yet its deadly reputation is incredibly precise.
Now, logically, when a huge cargo ship or a military plane goes down in a rolling ocean storm, you'd expect to find something, right? Debris usually washes up somewhere. But here, no bodies, no wreckage, absolutely no signals, complete silence. We're talking about ships carrying hundreds of tons of cargo, or planes packed with experienced military crews that literally just cease to exist. That sudden absolute silence is what elevates this from a mere maritime hazard to a global phenomenon. And to really grasp this dread, we have to look at the ultimate catalyst, the infamous case back in 1945.
Which brings us to Section 2, the catalyst, the Flight 19 mystery. Picture this. Realistic ocean storms are brewing far below as 5 American military planes head out. It was supposed to be a totally routine training mission. Everything was perfectly normal until they flew deeper into the zone, and boom, their compasses completely died. Panic sets in. You can hear it in the pilot's voice over the radio, totally bewildered, saying, "We don't know where we are. Everything looks strange." Even the water below them supposedly took on this sickening, unnatural hue. Imagine the suffocating suspense in that control room, listening to highly experienced guys just lose their grip on reality.
5 American military planes. Just think about that number for a second. 5 heavily equipped aircraft, flying in a cohesive squadron, completely vanishing into what witnesses described as this weird glowing sky. This wasn't just one rogue pilot making a bad call. This was an entire formation succumbing to the exact same bizarre atmospheric phenomenon, all at the exact same time.
And with those 5 planes comes the real tragic human cost. 14 pilots. 14 highly trained military personnel. The sheer momentum of this tragedy is just staggering. I mean, these were men who knew exactly how to handle emergencies. They were trained to survive the harshest ocean conditions, yet whatever they encountered out there over the dark Atlantic, well, it was clearly something no amount of intense training could have ever prepared them for. But, here is where the story drops like a massive weight. The total number of lost planes wasn't 5, it was 6 total airplanes. Because when the control room realized Flight 19 was in critical danger, they immediately scrambled a massive search and rescue plane to go save them. And guess what? That rescue plane, carrying its own brave crew, flew directly into the exact same airspace and vanished without a single trace. 6 planes, gone. Honestly, it's the kind of plot twist you'd expect in an emotional Hollywood sci-fi thriller, but no, this is deeply documented history.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is, well, let's look at Section 3, Strange Theories and Dimensions.
So, when humanity is faced with zero wreckage and literally zero logic, we desperately try to fill that void, right? The sheer number of theories born from this one patch of ocean is incredible. On one hand, you have the paranormal theories, people talking about missing time, time portals, or even underwater alien bases pulling ships down. But then, on the other hand, you have the scientific theories. This is where researchers argue for things like abnormal, massive, localized magnetic storms that completely blind navigation systems and cause catastrophic disorientation.
But whether you lean toward the paranormal or the hard science,
You really can't ignore the common anomalies reported by the people who actually survived the crossing. Dead compasses, missing time, bizarre lights in the clouds. I really have to ask you, why do these exact same weird accidents keep happening in this one specific geographic location? Why do the survivors always describe the exact same glowing compasses and eerie skies?
Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 4, the underwater reality.
Okay, if we look away from the sky and plunge deep down into the ocean, we find a truly terrifying natural possibility. This is known as the methane theory. So, according to researchers, right beneath the Bermuda Triangle, there might be these giant pockets of methane gas trapped under the ocean floor. If a seismic event triggers them, huge bubbles of methane violently shoot up to the surface, and what that does is it drastically weakens the water's density. The result? It's terrifying. A massive ship sailing over that exact spot would instantly lose all its buoyancy and drop to the bottom of the ocean like a literal stone. No time for a distress signal, just instant, total sinking.
But here's the thing, science alone can't quite explain everything the survivors report. One pilot who actually made it out alive said, "I felt like we entered another dimension." He described flying into a weird glowing fog that completely swallowed his aircraft right before his radio went dead silent. When you hear accounts like that, the line between a natural methane leak and some kind of sci-fi portal really starts to blur. Was it just an atmospheric trick caused by gas, or is it something we simply don't have a name for yet?
So, the crucial point is this. Some safely pass, while others never return. Despite all these theories, the magnetic storms, the giant methane bubbles, the dimensional portals, the terrifying reality is that thousands of commercial and private ships still cross this geographic zone every single year. By doing so, they're basically playing Russian roulette with the ocean. It might be a beautiful, sunny journey, or suddenly your compass might just start spinning.
Ultimately, we are left with a phenomenon that continues to defy any single, definitive explanation. Whether it's a deadly natural storm brewing beneath the deep blue, or some dark secret hidden from humanity, the mystery remains entirely unsolved. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, unsettling thought as we look out over the dark water. If you were booked on that exact flight, staring out into a strange, glowing sky as all your instruments died, would you go?